I think the issue with modern men and modern women in the dating arena is that there are so many modern men that want traditional women without having to be traditional men. What am I talking about? Let me let him explain.
And typically in an Arab household, the man usually is the provider financially, and that's just how it is.
That is just something I wasn't prepared for.
Most Arab women expect that.
Just like most American people expect the woman to contribute half. Or not half, just contribute.
But you're not dealing with an American woman.
No, but she'd have to deal with some of my things, though, too. This was definitely not what I wanted to hear. I thought Moroccan women prioritize family over material things, and I was not anticipating that it would mean I have to be the sole provider for a household. I didn't sign up for this.
So what do you mean you weren't prepared to be a sole provider? Like, who raised some of these men? They are so adamant that they want a traditional woman, but they also want that traditional woman to be modern enough to expect to have to pay bills. This man goes on to say that he wants an independent, financially independent woman who will have his kids and clean and be submissive and all these other things. Why would she do all of that? Like, you realize that the women in here in America won't even take that deal. So they get their passports and they globe trot all over the world trying to find a woman vulnerable enough, desperate enough, in search of citizenship enough to take that deal. This is predatory behavior. When you're looking for a woman who wants to have access to the benefits and the perks and the rights that we have as Americans, because they don't have those rights in their country, but you're going to make her earn it. She's going to have to earn it by you making a mule out of her, expecting her to do more than you're doing. So why should she do all of that for your 50% of the bills? Like, the deal isn't being accepted by American women, and you're realizing that it's not going to be accepted by women in other countries either, because it's a bad deal and you know it. And oftentimes these women in other countries, they're going to expect you to send money back home to their parents and their siblings and their families back home. Like, you think that you're saving money. You're trying to find a good woman for a discount by shopping all around. But she's also going to expect you to provide for her as well. Once you expect a woman to have your child and her ability to work like your ability to work is changed, you're going to have to provide for that woman. When you want her to stay home, how's she going to stay home and work 40 hours a week? Like, some of you have no idea what you're asking. Or maybe you do, but you don't care. Why should she run herself into the ground? And what does she get? A discount on bills? A discount. Because you're not even willing to pay the whole thing. Like, you want provider benefits without having to actually be a provider. You let somebody speak long enough and they'll tell you everything you need to know. And the men are beginning to say the quiet part out loud. We weren't expecting to take care of any woman. American woman, a woman overseas. We were expecting a servant. They're not looking for partnership. They're looking for ownership.
One thing we should all learn from men as women is putting ourselves first. A man will leave a woman with kids all because he's putting himself first. A man will choose to cheat on you all because he's putting his happiness first. A man will lie to you all because he's protecting his peace. So in conclusion, as a woman, stop being selfless and start being a little bit more selfish.
I was about 22 years old having breakfast with my daddy at a restaurant when he asked me about my relationship. And I could feel myself about to cry. And I was like, well, Daddy, I want to break up with him, but he keeps making me feel like I'm the only person he has in the whole world. He said, and I quote, Shonda, if that boy had found somebody else, he would have left you in a second. Men will put themselves first, regardless of it being inconvenient, regardless of what all you've done for them. They will still do what's best for them. They don't care if you've moved cross country to be with them. They don't care if you've just had their baby. They don't care if you've just been diagnosed with cancer and you really could use their support. Women are always taught to sacrifice and put everything and everyone first, but never forget that your happiness matters. You're not going to good deed your way into making him a better man than he already is. So I don't care if you were with him when he had nothing and now he has everything. I don't care if you supported him and let him live with you rent free. I don't care what you've done for him. It's not going to make that man into a better man than he already is.
Ladies, a lot of these men who go overseas, especially to third world countries, I'm originally from Ghana, so I completely understand what it means. Many of these men are not willing or open or considerate enough with their wives or consistent partners that they have overseas, because they don't get in their heads that once you have a child, once they have a child with you, because they want to build a legacy or extend their name and all that good stuff, right? You lay down with them, you have children with them. The expectation of how much money you make as a woman drastically changes, especially within the first 5 years of that child's life. But this men expect you to still work 50-50, sometimes even more. You, the woman, you're working 2-3 jobs. Why they keep with the one job? Even if they're working more than one job, guess what? They have more time. And many of these men are not willing to help with the day-to-day heavy lifting of dealing with the children. They themselves act like their children. They themselves, when you have children, all of these men, they start to switch up. They start to change their mindset. They start to change their approach, like, oh, I can go out there and get any kind of woman I want, and if you're not gonna, they are very wicked at the core. They start to take the mask off. Many of them are very brute and narcissistic, and many of them tell me, oh, it's not all men. Yes, okay, not men, but how many percentage of these men who are misogynistic, they're narcissistic, they're red pillars, and they all run in the same show. They have the patriarchy mindset, like men are not supposed to help the children. If you're found to help at home, let's say a man is found to be washing a dish or two, or vacuuming, or cleaning the bathroom, or cleaning the toilet, God forbid, that woman is emasculating that man for even having him do household duties. Like, these are skills that he was doing prior to the marriage. Why is it wrong for him to help her at home, help your wife, help your children, take your children to activities, to doctor's appointment? Is that wrong for a woman to ask for? And all of a sudden, oh, you're not humble, you're disrespectful, you're da-da-da-da-da-da. You're going to go over here and get the women who are humble. Guess what? Those women who you're saying are humble, you are intentionally targeting a certain demographic of women who you can silence, who you can manipulate and control. Because many of you men, it's all about control, it's all about manipulation, it's all about seeing women as object to be used and dumped and used at any time. Your mindset is to have sex, is to use them for your own selfish reasons. It's all about status. So you jump out of that marriage, not considering the vulnerable children you brought to this world, and punish that woman for by any means necessary, because you in your head, because you say, oh, she's uncontrollable, she's too da-da-da-da, she's too talkative, she's too much of a nag, she's too much for herself, she's not humble enough, she's come to America. So especially some of us women who are here, God forbid, you're too Americanized. You're taking the mindset of the American woman. You're not trained enough. Your mother, your parent didn't raise you well enough. I thank God for self-help. I thank God for therapy. I thank God for this street of the internet, YouTube, TikTok, for so many women, feminists, and other men too, who support us in raising the flag and raising our girl child and our boy children to think differently. Hopefully in the next 5-10 years, marriages will be different. And if this mindset are still a thing, when you recognize it as a woman, know that this is not okay. This is going to drive your mental health down the toilet. This is going to drive your physical health down the toilet. This is going to carry on generational traumas for yourself and for your children. And when you see that sign the first 1 or 2 times, being okay with the fact that you can jump out, Sarah over there, I'm over there, Afi over there is doing likewise, and nobody's willing to put up anymore. And once that vulnerable woman that you got with realize bullshit that you carry around, they also gonna get woke and gonna be like, oh no, 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 you're only here to use me sex for your selfish reasons and for status. That's all you got with me. And once my body starts to change, once I start to say, no, this is not fair, you're gonna be like stonewalling, you're gonna be like silent treatment in me, you're gonna call me names, and you're gonna get all the flying monkeys along the way to say or demonize. I can't even demonize me to say, oh my God, you're the worst woman ever. Make that make sense. These passport bros think they will jump abroad and get women who they can manipulate. Yes, but many of them will manipulate them and control them for a little bit, because many of those women are also after their money. They want to be taken care of. They want their children to be taken care of. They want their families to be taken care of. But once they wake up to the fact that, oh God, this bro is only here to use me for sex, to have a bunch of kids, to hug me, and to have me cooking and cleaning and taking care of me, to make me a mini mom, they're also going to get woke and be like, I'm out of here. Nobody's going to put up with that forever unless they themselves are so broken as they are. And many of these men are not willing to do any type of counseling or therapy or have any self-awareness. They lack so much self-awareness that they're willing to run around with their lack of self-awareness and do all this stuff. And you can ask me, so why did you get with them? Because many of them, the first few years in relationship with them, will love bomb you. They will show a certain version of themselves that when you finally wake up to it, you'll be like, how in the world? I can't believe my light was off the whole time. And here we are. Look at the difference. A lot of men will travel abroad to get with women and specifically target women who are malleable, so to speak. Will target women who they deem to be easy to be controlled. They go with leading with their money. But guess what? After a while, this is part 2, by the way, when that woman wakes up, or part 1.0, I should say, because I want to put this first, because my first one, the light was not on. But anyways, those women will wake up to the fact that this man is BS. And the flying monkeys eventually, if they're woke enough, will realize that this man is about nothing but BS. That woman was right the whole time and was trying to get away with not taking care of stuff at home or their kids.